Hey guys, I tell you what, this is awesome. I tell you what, I learned more here in the last 5 minutes I did in 19 years in college. I tell you guys, I'm the second oldest of 8 kids. I grew up in a small little town northeast Iowa called Guttenberg, just north of Dubuque. Great area to be from. Do I get a hum on this? And guys, my dad was a small business owner. My dad owned a couple grocery stores, owned a couple farms. He owned a bowling alley, developed real estate. He has 8 kids. How many know we were all working? I was fired 7 times before I was the age of 7. My mom also owned a clothing store. Every time I got fired from my dad's grocery store, he sent me to my mom's clothing store. How many know a 7-year-old at a ladies' clothing store is an accident waiting to happen? My dad, he taught all of his boys. We have 7 boys and 1 sister. We didn't know she was a girl until she was 14. But he taught all of his boys and his daughter how to be self-employed. Today, my brother Jay is self-employed in Manchester, Iowa. My brother Steve is self-employed in Dyersville. My brother Mark is self-employed in Hudson. My brother Gil is self-employed in Carroll. My brother Chris is self-employed in Cedar Rapids. And I live in DeWitt. My dad has raised a bunch of entrepreneurial people. I remember my passion was sports. Now, I worked at my dad's store, and I learned I wanted to be a business owner, but I love sports. I went out for football, basketball, baseball, track, you name it, I went out for it. Every night I'd come home from practice, I'd sit around the table, and I'd talk with my dad, and my dad would not ask me about sports. I would ask my dad about business, because I wanted to be like my dad. My dad was my hero. My dad, I wanted to grow up to be like my dad. So I asked him, Dad, tell me about this, tell me about this, tell me about this. And here's what he taught me. At 14 years of age, I knew I'd be a business owner. I remember going to high school. I graduated the top 1% of the bottom third of my class. My guidance counselor said, dude, you better let me check your hands out because you're going to be working with your hands. I said, no, I'm going to own a business. You know what? Nobody ever teaches you how to own a business. You know how you learn how to own a business? Somebody who knows how to own a business will teach you how to own a business. My dad taught me growing up. He said, Jeff, he says, what made this country great, he said, is prosperity. He said, it's prosperity that made this country great. He said, I want you to realize there are 3 types of people. He said, those are people who make economy. He said, it's a small business owner. Those are the people who receive economy. He says, those are the workers. He says, and then those are the people who take economy. That's the government. He says, be leery when the government, who's taking the economy from the makers of the economy, starts to convince the receivers of the economy that they can receive more from them than us. I mean, we're right there now. See, he told me at the turn of the 20th century, 12 million people came to Ellis Island. They were processed. They left Europe to come to the United States to pursue a dream. He said they didn't come here to get a job. Today, what do we got? We got immigrants coming to the USSA, United Socialistic States of America. Not because they want freedom, not because they want to have prosperity, but because they want to suck us dry. What do we got to do to fix it? We need more people who make economy. More people who make it. There's not a person in this crowd who cannot start your own business. You want to know how you take the government back? You make more economy. Prosperity. You know, there's no doubt in my mind that we could have 500,000 people in Iowa who make $1 million a year. How many know that we'll have enough prosperity? We can tell the federal government we don't need anything from you. We can start taking over the state government. Your counties, your locals can all be taken care of once you create prosperity. Well, how do you create it? My dad taught us, he says you work from 9 to 5 to make a living. He says you work from 5 to 9 to get rich. And he says you get wealthy from 9 to midnight. I work on the average of 16 hours a day. I'm at the office at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm still there at midnight. Because I got a dream. I got a passion. I knew I wanted to make economy. I knew I wanted to create something that will better the world. See, to much who has been given, much is expected. You've been given freedom. The freedom to choose what you do with your life. I hope you choose to honor this. I hope you choose to go ahead and say, I'm going to do something great with my life. What do? Find someone. You know what? And I talked with Charlie. Some of y'all don't know Charlie. Charlie's one of my best friends, and I'm here from Davenport because he told me, asked me to come, and so I'm here. But Charlie's not here. And so Charlie and I got talking, and you know how I met Charlie? Charlie was at the time living in Manchester out in eastern Iowa, and he was working for a veterinary pharmaceutical company, and I wanted to get in to see him, and I could not get in to see him. He had a gatekeeper, and at that time I was doing some legislative work for the National Federation of Independent Business, and wanted to get in to see him, couldn't get in to see him, so finally, how many are kind of creative? Got the secretary on the phone. I said, "Hi, my name is Jeff, and I'm with the Internal Revenue Service. I need to see Charlie." Wasn't 2 seconds, I got Charlie on the phone, and you would have swore to God that, World War III was going to be... See, I did not know at the time Charlie was being audited. But he had to meet this guy who got in through the gatekeeper. We met, we talked, we hit it off, we had a great time. We built a relationship that lasts 20-some years. Guys, you know what I teach my kids? I got 4 kids. My daughter, Steph, sells real estate, kind of self-employed. My 2 boys are self-employed. My daughter's self-employed. You know what they do? They create economy. You want to take this country back? Create economy. Y'all can do it. You all can do it. Don't let the government tell you that they can do more to give than what the private sector can.